So the practices in Advaita Vedanta, if you will, if you want really to have practices, is actually pretty easy. It is to sit and listen. The first practice is to listen. It's called Shravana. So that's what we are going to do now. And it's the most important practice. The Advaita, the path of knowledge, is trying to tell us something. So what we'll do in this series, starting now, and then in the afternoon, and tomorrow, and day after, is first now we'll listen and get the gist, the essence of what Advaita is trying to tell us. Because that's all that Advaita is trying to do. It's trying to tell us something. So we really need to listen. Otherwise, none of it will work. If you say, yeah, that's all very good, I am Brahman, I believe you. No, you missed it. You can't believe me. What did you say again? Again, no, you have missed it. One must listen, and then one must see, oh, this is what the teacher said. This is what the text said. And now I must mull over it, think over it, and see whether it is reasonable, whether I get it or not. And then finally, the final part of it is to see, is it real? If you can say yes to all three, I know what the teacher said. Do you know what the teacher said or the text said? Yes. First part is over, the most essential part. Second, yes, I know what the teacher said, but do I get it? Is it clear to me? Or do I have 100 questions? And we better have 100 questions. It's not all that easy to get. Because Vedanta is really telling us something new, something stunningly different from what we know about ourselves and the world. It's telling us something really, really new, really, really different. So it's not all that easy to get at all. So we should question and argue and reason it out until that aha moment. Oh, I get it. It's so clear to me now. So clear to me that now you can explain it to others and you can answer all those questions which can come up. You can deal with the arguments which come up. It should be that clear. So that's the second stage. And the third stage is, after it being clear, after it being all all well reasoned out and we know all the arguments, we know all the answers, but still you make it a living reality for yourself. To live it. To be actually able to the extent that it delivers on the promise that was made. The promise is it will take us beyond suffering. The promise is it will lead to deep, limitless fulfillment. Dukkha nivritti, ananda prapti. Until the promises are fulfilled. So to push it to that level, we need a time for absorbing what was learned and what was understood. Step 1, learning it. Step 2, grasping it, understanding it, getting conviction. Step 3, assimilating it. So these are the 3 steps, 3 questions. What was said? Do you know what was said? Yes. Do you get it? Yes. Is it real for you? Is it real for you? Because at that point, someone might still say, yeah, I know the teachings. Yes, I get it. But it's still, I'm still the same person. It's still the same world. I'm still the same person. It's not come alight for me. An enlightenment. It's not lit up yet for me. So is it real for me? And then after this comes the question of living it. So what we will do now is the first part. Right now, we'll listen for a short while. Then in the afternoon session and tomorrow also, we'll begin to understand it and see for ourselves, to see whether it's real or not. And the final session, which is called luminous living, because the whole theme here is light, take us from darkness to light. This is the theme of the entire retreat. So finally it should be living in the light, a luminous living. How do we take it out into the world? So right now, listen. The verse, luckily Advaita Vedanta can be expressed very easily. It is very elegant. It can be expressed in half a verse. Brahma satyam jagat mithya jiva brahmeva napara. Brahman is real, the world is an appearance, and you are none other than Brahman. It can be expressed even more shortly than that, even more brief compass than that. You are that, tattvamasi. That's it, that's Advaita Vedanta. I am Brahman, aham brahmasmi. That's it. That's Advaita Vedanta. Prajnanam Brahma. This consciousness itself is limitless, is Brahman. That's it. I am Atma Brahma. This very self is the ultimate reality. That's it. That's Advaita Vedanta. These are called the famous great identity statements of Vedanta in the Upanishads, the so-called Mahavakyas, great statements. You can make it even more short than that. Just say, Om. And Om, if you study something like the Mandukya Upanishad, which takes apart Om and then puts it back again together, you see all of Vedanta is packed into Om. You can make it even more short. Don't even have to say anything. Just a gesture can convey enlightenment. This gesture. This is called the chin mudra. You put your hands like this and put this finger and make it touch this. It's the gesture of consciousness, chin mudra. Gesture of chin. This is well known. That it is, often we use this to convey something. When you say this. So we are making a point. You do this. So what does this mean? There's 3 fingers here. This one, the small finger, the one next, and then this one. The 3 fingers, the physical body, the subtle body, and the causal body. Physical body, this one, here. And the subtle body is what's inside, not inside the physical body. Inside the physical body is more physical body, and usually the more gooey, unattractive parts of the physical body, that's inside. Inside means our own first-person experience of ourselves. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas, memories, our own story. This is called the subtle body. The antakarana, which is a part of the subtle body. So that subtle body, that is one finger is representing that. And there is a seed state to our existence called the causal body. Karana Sharira. So these 3. And usually what happens is, we are all in one bundle. This fingers represents I. What's my identity? Who am I? What am I? This I is usually with these 3. Automatic. Doesn't require any classes. You don't have to go to Vedanta to learn that. We are born with it. We are born with this instinctive identification with the physical body, the subtle body, and the causal body. Now what Vedanta is telling us is, this is pure consciousness, the real nature of the self, Atman, Brahman, whatever you call it. Changing the identification of my identification from the 3 bodies to pure consciousness. See, we all understand that we are aware, we are conscious. But we think we are a bundle of body, mind, awareness, this bundle. What Vedanta is telling us is, you have to change, you have to see, come to see that I'm not the physical body, I'm not the subtle body, I'm not the causal body. Then what am I? You've freed yourself from the 3. Automatically it will become clear, I am just the awareness in which all these 3 are appearing and disappearing. So this is, all you need to do is this. Dakshinamurti Stotra, Shankaracharya says there that he sings how the teacher teaches Mudraya Bhadraya, the southern facing face of Shiva. Today is the Guru Purnima. This is the day of Dakshinamurti. The south facing face of Shiva means the compassionate face of Shiva, the face of grace. And what is the grace of Shiva? Enlightenment. Giving knowledge so that we become enlightened, and through enlightenment we get freedom. And how does he give knowledge? Not by talks, not by lectures or YouTube talks. Shiva gives knowledge by this gesture. In the iconography, you will see Shiva, Dakshinamurti Shiva sitting like this. And this is all that needs to be conveyed. You are not this, this or this. What are you? You are this, Tattvamasi. You are this. What am I? I am not this, this or this. I am Brahman. This very self is Brahman. This very consciousness is Brahman. Tat Tvamasi. Aham Brahmasmi. So, this is you can convey Vedanta like that. through one gesture. And even it can make it even more simple. Silence. Yes, Shankaracharya in the same Dakshinamurti Stotram, the hymn to Dakshinamurti, he sings that the Guru is young, the disciples are old and venerable. The Guru teaches in silence, and the questions of the disciples are answered, all their doubts are dispelled, and they attain enlightenment. And clearly he was talking about himself. He was a teenager, and many of his disciples were well-known, venerable scholars and all. So, even silence, the silence is the teaching of Advaita Vedanta. It can be made as simple as that.
Become Swami Vivekananda's messenger. Share the video with 3 of your friends.